5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
On the brakes, Leclerc has that inside line. Perez goes off the track, comes the chicane, off goes Leclerc, through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff.
Welcome. And what a qualifying that was. That was a good qualifying. Anybody could get that qualifying today. I think at the beginning of the weekend, especially after practice too, I was kind of leaning towards Lewis Hamilton. Maybe, but in Q3, I saw George Russell just, find that extra gear and the toe, which we'll talk about later about the toe. The toe he picked up from Albon, his friend. That's what Carew quote from Carew. But it was a good qualifying. And again, another weekend without Max Verstappen getting pole. It shows everyone that this season is going to be an exciting season. It's going to be an exciting season for everybody watching, even for the neutrals. For the neutrals, it's going to be exciting. Nobody wants to see the same person driving every week. Nobody wants to see that. But yeah, absolutely amazing. Big up Red Racing. Big up. How's it going, guys? Hope you have a good... Yeah, and you. Big up to Red Racing. Go and subscribe. Yeah, man, but it was a great qualifying. Absolutely amazing. But what, for me, the highlight of the weekend so far has to be Jacques Villeneuve. Jacques Villeneuve. You know who Jacques Villeneuve, 1997 world champion. Jacques Villeneuve, his dad is an icon. He used to drive for Ferrari. They named the circuit after his father, Gilles Villeneuve. Absolutely amazing commentator. Please, Sky Sports 1, Sky Sports F1. If you're watching this, which you're probably not, please employ this man full time. Pay him what he wants. Pay Jacques Villeneuve what he wants. He's so real when he talks. He doesn't hold back. Doesn't sugarcoat nothing. He was talking about, for an example, he was talking about Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo. They asked him, what do you think of Daniel Ricciardo in Formula One? And he said, why is he in Formula One? Why? He's been in Formula One. He hasn't won anything for 4 to 5 years. He keeps complaining about the car's not right for him. So what? He goes, you can have that. You can have people changing the car for you if you're someone like Lewis Hamilton, who's won multiple world titles. But if you haven't won multiple world titles, you can't really complain. He says when he beat Vettel in 2014 when he joined Red Bull, the reason why he beat Vettel because Vettel was burnt out and he weren't interested in Red Bull anymore. He just wanted to go to Ferrari. He was trying to reinvent himself. This is all quoted from Jacques Villeneuve. He said Vettel was trying to reinvent himself. And that's the reason why Ricciardo beat him. And then the season after what happened, Vettel went to Ferrari. And he goes, he only beat Max when Max was 17, half of the season. Remember when it was teamed up Max Verstappen and Dan Ricciardo? He only beat Max Verstappen the first half of the season when Max Verstappen was 17. And after that, he didn't beat nobody. So why is he still in Formula One? He said, if you don't want it anymore and you're here just to show up, give your seat up for somebody else and just go home. Jacques Villeneuve is a man. He's the geezer. He is the geezer. He should be a full-time Sky Sports commentator. Even when he said that, why is Daniel Ricciardo in Formula One? When he said that, Carew was shaking his head like that. Like, I too agree with him. When he found out like the camera was on him more, he stopped shaking his head. But he knew. He was just spitting facts all day long. Spitting facts about Daniel Ricciardo. Jacques Villeneuve he deserves a knighthood just for that interview alone. If you haven't watched the interview, go on to Sky Sports F1, go onto YouTube, type in Jacques Villeneuve talking about Daniel Ricciardo. You'll get it, no problem. Or you go on my Twitter and I've bookmarked it. You can go on my Twitter and you'll see it. Absolutely amazing commentator. And he's very intelligent the way he talks, very articulate the way he talks as well. He's not an idiot. He knows his stuff. He's a world champion. So nobody can't really argue with him because he's a world champion. There's a lot of people in the Sky Sports commentary who's never even driven a car. They ain't even driven a car. So when Rachel asked him, Rachel Reeves, I think her name, asked him that, she didn't know where to put herself. You can't outwit him. I would love to see, as the main commentary on F1, I would love to see Ted Kravitz, and Jack Villeneuve as commentary. That will be absolutely amazing. Both of them together as commentary. That will be comedy gold. I'll just watch F1 just for that. Just for Ted and Jack Villeneuve. But that's enough of that. Now we're going to talk about the racing. We're going to bring on my co-cues, my partner in crime, Toto Abba!
Yeah, big up, man.
Toto, how's it going?
Yeah, man, look, I'm just, overall really happy, feeling well.
You froze. Okay, you're fine now.
Yeah, I'm just feeling well.
I said nothing. I'm saying you froze. So, how's it going, bro?
Yeah, it's going good, feeling well.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, spitting facts. And the thing about it, red racing. People don't like the facts. It hurts them. When you spit facts, look, and he also said, another thing what he also said is, Rachel Reeves said to him, so you think that he's overrated? He's driving. He goes, the reason why for me, he said, the reason why he's still here maybe is because the way his personality is, that he gets on with people. That's basically what he's saying. If it weren't for his personality, the fact that he's got a good personality, I think that's the reason why he's still here over his driving, because he hasn't won nothing for a while, and it's facts. He shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be here. Dan Ricciardo for me is done up. He's done up, man. Maybe he should give his seat up for someone else. Someone who really wants to drive. He doesn't need to prove himself. I'm sure Daniel Ricciardo's made a lot of money. And it's not me disrespecting Daniel Ricciardo. It's just basically the way it is. It's just facts. He hasn't done anything in a very long time. And I know his stepfather to Thingy's son. His godfather to Thingy's son. What's the name again? What's Natalie Pinkman's son? I know he's the godfather and all that. I get it. So I could see the loyalty between the commentators there. But at the end of the day, he's a driver. And at the end of the day, you got people who want to join Formula One that are ready to start, they're in the waiting line. And he's not doing nothing. It's not like he's helping the team. It's not like he's beating Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda is beating Daniel Ricciardo week in and week out. Week in and week out, and that's it. He's not doing it. He should be beating Yuki Tsunoda. He went to McLaren. He got beat by Lando. He went to all, every team he's gone to, he's lost. He hasn't beat nobody. The teammates have always beat him. And he thought he could do over Lando Norris. I remember when he got the contract for McLaren, and he was dancing around in commentary. He goes, "Oh, you wait till next year. You wait till next year." What happened? Daniel Ricciardo had his arse handed to him by Lando Norris all season, just like he's having his arse handed to him by Yuki Tsunoda. Who would ever thought that Yuki Tsunoda would have Daniel Ricciardo over? Who would ever thought that?
For me, I think he should have stayed at Renault. He should have stayed at Renault because I think he was doing quite good there, and I think the team was actually going places because I don't know who their last team principal there was, but when Ricciardo was at Renault was actually putting in good results towards the end of their season and before they changed to Alpine. Of course, Alpine is not as good as they was then back then with Renault, but I think with Ricciardo is that I don't know if you mentioned this or not, that he teamed hot too much. He did team up too much between like Renault, like Red Bull to Renault to Alpine to McLaren.
Yeah, he's been everywhere. He's now team ups everywhere.
Now was in the RB, which used to be the old AlphaTauri team. AlphaTauri now in the RB. Look, I just don't understand with Ricciardo. Like, I don't know. I just don't understand why didn't he stay at Renault. Renault was putting in good performances, and they could have gone somewhere with Ricciardo because Ricciardo was building a good relationship with the team. But now, I think he's coming to the age of Ricciardo that I don't think Red Bull will take him back because they just signed Perez on a new 2-year contract, so Red Bull won't take him back. There might be rumours that Red Bull could take him back after the 2-year contract, but I doubt it. I doubted that he's going to go back to Red Bull again. Perez will probably stay there in them 2 years. And I don't think the car that he's in now will get nowhere because that car is, it's under the Red Bull radar, and no, I just don't think the car that he's in, he's not going to get any good performances. Of course, Q3, Ricciardo made it to Q3. They had excellent qualifying. Finishing like top 5, top 6. Had a good qualifying. But, that's only one race for that car. That car's been, not been that good all season. Tsunoda's been probably the one who's just scraping at the points, Tsunoda. But Ricciardo in that car, it's not suiting him. He didn't suit the McLaren. The only car that he suited was the Alpine. That's the only car he suited. But he didn't suit the AlphaTauri. He didn't suit the RB. And not even suiting. He didn't even suit the Alpine either. So, yeah,
It's fact, you're right. 100% facts what you're spitting there. Just like Jack Villeneuve. Jack Villeneuve, man, he just didn't hold back, man. This guy didn't even hold back. It was hilarious as well. And I remember Rachel Reeves on Sky Sports F1. She went to see the Mounties. She'd done this segment where she went to see the Mounties. She spent a day with the Mounties. She had to do all the training, wear the uniform, do all the marches, and said, "Oh, it's a beautiful town, beautiful city, Montreal." And what happened is when I went back to the after the segment, it went back to the Jack Villeneuve and by the circuit, and she said to Jack Villeneuve, "Oh, what do you think about Canada? It's a lovely place." And he goes, "I don't know. I grew up in Europe." When he said that, I could not stop laughing. She didn't know where to put herself because she's kind of a professional. She knew how to navigate a way out of it, but you could see that she was thrown off a bit. He's just been put there to wind them up. He's one of them. And the thing about it, he doesn't even realize maybe that he's doing it. He's that good at it. He's so smart. He's but everything he said about Daniel Ricciardo was facts. He said, "Why is he here? Hasn't won not in 5 years." He goes, the reason why he only beat Vettel because Vettel was a burnt out Vettel after winning 4 world titles in a row, and he just wanted to get out of there because he knew when the regulations changed that the Red Bull was crap, and he just wanted to go to Ferrari. So that's the reason why. And then when he was joined up with Max Verstappen, he was only beating Max Verstappen for half of the season when Max Verstappen was 17, and after that half of the season, he didn't beat no one. He ran. And I'm not the biggest fan of Christian Horner, but Christian Horner said some facts as well. Looking back at it, when you first heard Christian Horner say back in 2017-18, he said he ran away from a fight. And at the time, I disagreed with him. I actually done a video on it that I thought Daniel Ricciardo didn't run away from a fight. But looking back at it now, you can probably admit it and say Horner was right. He ran away from a fight. Why did he leave Red Bull? Why did he leave Red Bull? That was the biggest mistake he ever done. Yeah. And he said,
even if I was in Ricciardo's position at Red Bull, I'm thinking, this car's good, man. I ain't leaving. Why is he leaving? The car was good, and when he went on that dominance, he could have been a part of that dominance. I don't know if Checo would have came in, but if it weren't Ricciardo leaving, I don't think Checo would have actually came in. I think Ricciardo would have, stayed, and he would have been involved in that. I think them 2-3 years domination of Red Bull when they were just winning constructors' title every single year, and the drivers' title, of course, Max. Winning drivers' titles in a row. He could have been a part of that. He could have been challenging Max in that Red Bull, but he left. I don't know why he left. Went downgraded to a different team, and it's not like they fired him. They wanted him to stay. Red Bull wanted him to stay. Horner wanted him to stay, but he decided to leave, and that's his own fault.
Yeah. So let's get on to the qualifying. Let's go through it a little bit. Lewis Hamilton looking good for the entire weekend, like he always did. Looked good in practice 1, looked good in practice 2. He was the fastest in practice 3. Absolutely amazing drive. Looking good in all sectors. Russell did match him a bit in qualifying 3. But what shocked me about Mercedes, well, more about Lewis, is at the end the reason why he missed out on pole. And the reason why he missed out on pole is the reason what Caru's giving. And he just put it up on Twitter. I'll put it up on Twitter. So if you want to go on my Twitter, you can see I've posted the video. Caru said the reason why Russell got first is because he picked up the toll behind Albon. When he was on the last straight, when he was coming in, they were neck and neck on time. Lewis and Hamilton and Russell were more or less neck and neck going into that last sector, that last straight just before you get to the World Champions. And he picked up a massive toll of Albon, big, massive toll of Albon. And that's the reason why he got pole. Because if it weren't for that toll, he'd probably reckon he could have probably got third. But because he picked up that toll of Albon, and Albon was in the right place at the right time, he got the pole. So what's your thing on that? That's what Caru said. He just done the analysis on Sky Sports. He put it on the computer. And we know that Caru's not the biggest fan of Lewis Hamilton, really. But he said the reason why he got that pole, maybe he's defending Max Verstappen. Maybe basically what he's saying is, you only got the pole over Max Verstappen because you picked up the toll. Because you remember, they finished with the same time, but by 1 in it. That was 0-1 or something. So, yeah, that's probably what it is. He's probably saying, look, the reason why you got it is because of Max Verstappen. So what's your thoughts on it, bro?
Yeah, what Carew said, you know, he did get the tar fab on, which helped him, you know, a bit. It helped him a bit. And I think, for me, I think he still would have got pole anyway. That's just me. I still think he would have got pole.
Nah, he wouldn't have, bro. He wouldn't
Yeah,
have. He's got it. It's the top.
No, that's just me being biased there. He wouldn't have probably got the pole because Verstappen got the 112 on the dot without having a toe. So it did help Mercedes, but look, what Carew said, it maybe is true, maybe not true. I'm going it could be true because, of course, Albon helped him a lot and he was on that big straight. And the toe mattered on this track. The toe is really, really vital on this track. Of course, you got fast bends. You got, of course, that big, massive straight on the end. Like, if you can get any little bit of toe, that can help wonders to your time. The toe is really, really strong at this track. Russell took advantage of it. And, he went and got the pole. Of course, Verstappen would have probably got it because he was running on good laps and again didn't get no toe. But look, end of the day, Russell was there, right place, right time. And for me, I think Russell deserved the pole. I think
he deserved it. He did deserve it.
It's probably true what Crew's saying about the toe, right? But Russell, end of the day,
what did Russell always say? You got to be there to in it to win it.
You got to be in it there. Exactly. But look, Russell had a great drive. You know, he was clever to get the toe. He took advantage of it. Look, when you're out there on that track, you've got to be selfish, man. You've got to be selfish. There's no holding back, right? You've got to be selfish. You've got to grab any single advantage. If you see an advantage, you've got to go for it. You've got to go for it. If you think you can go over a curb and get a little bit more tense in your time, or shade that a little bit tense off your time, you got to go for it. You got to go for it, man. There's no holding back. You got to take every advantage you take, right? Russell took the advantage. He took the toe. He got the pole. Simple. You know, he was there first. Yeah. As long as you're first you have to finish, and that's what he did. He got the first at the end of the day. Right? Look, I know Verstappen didn't have no pole, and they got a 112 dot. So Russell was first. Yeah. So first come, first serves.
That's the one. So yeah, it is what it is. I thought Russell deserved it. It's just a bit of Hamilton luck again, creeping in. But it is what it is. Look, the most important thing tomorrow is the race. I think he's 7th now. So that's a decent position. Hamilton's won this race 7 times. He's equal to Michael Schumacher. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We know the race is different. We know in the race, this is where Lewis Hamilton excels in the race. We know this. So we're going to see what happens tomorrow. I think it's going to be a decent race. I think Lewis is in the mix to win this race tomorrow. The say it's 80% at the moment now. The weather is looking that it's going to be 80% rain tomorrow. So if it is a wet race tomorrow, that's going to throw in a few curveballs for everybody. But we can honestly sit here and say now that the era of Red Bull dominating is over. He ain't going to win every single race anymore. Them days are over. When's the last time he actually done that? It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah. So I think the era, I'm just glad it's like this. All I want is when we get to halfway through the season, I want to get one or two drivers who's going to match him and win every single race. I don't want a different race, a different person wins it, because then Max Verstappen can keep their points within. You need about 2 drivers who are fighting Max Verstappen to pull away.
Verstappen can as easily play the tactical move because you don't have to finish first every race to win a title.
No. Like Michael Schumacher said.
You have to be consistent to win a title. Like Michael Schumacher, for an example, you know, people winning races, all he did is finish his second, third, consistently every race, consistently wins your titles. It's simple as that. If you can finish second every single race, goes for karting as well, any sort of tournament, if you can finish a certain position every single race for the rest of the season, or maybe second or third every single season, you're going to get the points, you know. And magically, if someone gets first every single race, that's just magically, then that's good as well. But if you can finish a podium every single race, right, you're fine. So Verstappen is still ahead of the driver's title. I think, like, even though he's losing points, he's still first in the driver's title. So all he needs to do is do that a little bit, just a little bit, right, just to keep ahead. Because we don't want
I don't think. I understand where you're coming from. Easier said than done. But I think that I understand where you're coming from. But like that proved my point. What I said. If the key thing with Verstappen, what he wants is the 3 or 4 drivers winning a race each race. He doesn't want 1 or 2 certain drivers, the same ones, winning every week, because that's going to take a lot of points of him. Say George Russell wins tomorrow. Then the week after, so Charles won the other week in Monaco. And the one after that, Sainz wins it. That's good for Max. That's good for Max.
Yeah.
The person who's underneath him, the two drivers that are underneath him, if they consistently keep winning, they'll catch him. Not Charles Leclerc. I think he's behind him. He's the guy in second place. I think Charles Leclerc can catch him, and I'm not sure about science, but I think when it gets to the latter part of the season, I think they're going to start taking a lot of the upgrades away from science because he knows he's leaving. They're going to focus all on Charles Leclerc because Charles Leclerc is the one that's staying, and Charles Leclerc is the one who's going to be there with Lewis next year. So I think they're going to focus more on Charles. Just like you're going to see towards the end of the season, they're going to be focusing more on Russell because they know Lewis is at the door. This is where it's going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to play out towards the end of the season. We know Max is staying at Red Bull, so with Red Bull, it's the same old thing, and it's the same old thing with Red Bull. But we're going to see how it's going to play out. I think it's going to be between Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and Lando Norris. Them three. I think they're the ones that are going to be challenging Max Verstappen. So that's enough of the Red Bull one. Let's go into Ferrari. What a total disaster. Tell me what you think of Ferrari, man. What's going on with Ferrari?
I don't know. Ferrari had such a good weekend in Monaco. Absolute wicked weekend. It's not just Monaco, the race before as well. And they had a decent practice sessions. But I always thought, going into qualifying, and I saw Q1, I always thought it was on the edge. And it took too long to build their lap times up. That's just me. Because I think, coming to the end of the Q1, they were near the bottom 5 pile. They were always near the bottom 5, and I was like, yeah, Ferrari's on the edge here. It could go at Q2. I'm thinking it could go at Q2 as well. Sainz messing up in a few corners, Leclerc messing up in a few corners. Just couldn't get it together today. I hope they do good in the race, and I hope they catch Red Bull in the race. I hope they catch Max, and I hope they go get the podiums. Leclerc and Sainz, just hope that they can do in the race. But yeah, what is actually going on? I hope this is not I hope this is a one-time thing.
I think it is.
One thing. It's got to be a one-time thing because Ferrari, was struggling. I'm not sure if this track is usually good for them, but they were struggling in Q1, and yeah, they were always on the edge. Q2, they were on the edge. They're always near that bottom 5, and Sainz messing up in probably the last corner. Last corner, everyone's messing up today. Sainz messing up in the last corner. Leclerc, I don't know what's going on with Leclerc, but it seemed like the times just weren't good enough. They'll put a time in, but it's always the bottom 5 that will always beat the times, and both Ferraris are out. Leclerc was. I thought Leclerc was safe. Sainz in the bottom.
I'm gonna break in here. This is just from Charles Leclerc, just coming in from the Ferrari press news. He says the Ferrari press officer was showing Charles Leclerc what to say ahead of the interview, but Charles Leclerc said, "No, I'm not listening. I'm going to say what I want." And he said it blatantly on the mic in front of everybody. Because when you get the press people before they do interviews, they show them what to say. Look, say this, say that, and that's what they usually say. But Charles Leclerc looked at it and goes, "Nah, sorry, I ain't listening. I'm going to say what I want." He said, "I'm not happy to be out in Q2. The biggest issue is why we were slow. In dry conditions, we were nowhere. We don't understand it yet. We've got to look into it. Since FP3, we've been nowhere. And since FP3, we've been nowhere. The car just feels bad. There's no grip at all. Let's try and rectify it tonight. Let's go over it in the debrief, and then we can try and rectify it for tomorrow's race." So he's saying after Q2, they were nowhere. Charles Leclerc, they were absolutely nowhere in Q2, and he said he just seemed slow. He don't know what happened. He said he was shocked. This is not what they had in the simulator, what the simulator was showing. The simulator was showing that there was going to be very fast here, very competitive here. And for some reason, they don't understand why. And you could see clearly after the race how frustrated Charles Leclerc was after the race. He just quickly jumped out of his car, thought he was going to start swinging his helmet in the engineer's room. He just jumped out the car. I thought he was just going to take his helmet and just start taking people out with his helmet. That's serious talk, because he looked vexed. My man looked vexed. I've never seen Charles vexed like that at all. He was vexed because he was really shocked. He didn't know where the pace was.
I don't think he expected it.
No, he wasn't. He also said, "I'm pretty peed off as well." Rago in the chat. So, you know what I mean? That's not like Charles. Charles is usually the gentleman. That's more of Max Verstappen kind of words, isn't it? Because we can't really construct a sentence properly, so we use these swear words. I get it. That's all he can do. But Charles Leclerc is more of a better speaker. He can speak. He's a very articulate the way he talks. He's a very good communicator. But today he went off on one. He went off for one like a 10-year-old boy. nah, this car's crap. I ain't having this, man. I ain't having that. That's what he was saying today. So I don't know. You're the sim man. You're the one that does the karting. You tell me. The data was showing that it was good on the simulator. The driver, the sim driver, whoever it is probably going to get the sacks in the morning because he was saying that the car was going to be good here. Fred Vasseur said at the beginning of the weekend that the car's going to be good here. What happened, Toto? You tell me. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Why didn't the simulator pick it up?
Look, end of the day, right? Like with me when I do kart, I know it's not just compared to Formula One, but it's similar concept. Like I can go on the sim, on Formula One, or kart sim, kartcraft, whatever. You can do hours and hours on the sim, but when you get out there, the track rubber is not the same as you go in the sim. The rubber is completely different. It's completely different. You can have some rough patches, or you can have some bumps, or there's different curves, or something like that. I just think that you can do what you want in the sim, but it's about getting the feel of the car. About getting the feel of the car. When you get out there in a practice session or a sprint race or whatever, right? You got to get the feel of your car. If you don't have the feel of your car, you're not getting nowhere because you're not going to be confident in your own abilities to push that car to the max, right? You don't have the confidence in your abilities to push that car to the max. Like when I'm driving, for an example, I go out there, I get a rubbish car, probably like I do every single session. Get a rubbish car. It's true.
Yeah, go on.
Real talk. It's true. I get the car. If the steering's not as good, I try adjust my driving style to try fight off the steering angle.
Yeah.
Not good. I change the car. But in Formula One, you can't change nothing. There's no spare car.
Especially when it goes into the park Ferme.
Yeah,
you stop with it then.
Exactly. So look, it's like back in the day, F1 used to have spare cars. I don't know why they got rid of it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why they got rid of it.
Remember the days,
one time, I think it was Johnny Herbert or something.
Johnny Herbert, yeah. Remember that video we watched? He just dropped out
I was watching a classic race. I think Johnny Herbert and his teammate went out, and it was literally a race to the pit lane. Who can get the spare car first? Johnny Herbert ran to the pit lane quick, got the spare car first, and then ran back out. That's what I liked. But the difference with that and karting is you can change your car, but they'll put you in the slow one.
Yeah.
But when you're out there, it's basic. You get the feel of the car. You see how the track is. You see if the track's slippery. You see if the track's greasy or not. Of course, the Formula One tracks will be up to high standard, professional standard. So of course, there'll be no faults there because health and safety reasons and all that.
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna put it overall, I don't think Leclerc had the feel for the car. Because you can do all the hours in your sim all you want, like in the simulator. If you don't have that feel to the car, the simulator can help you with sharpness and eye coordination helps a lot. This is why a simulator is really, really important. But what simulator can't teach you when you're out on that track is getting the feel of your own car.
I feel you.
If you don't get the feel of your own car, you won't get the confidence, you won't push the car to the max, you'll be always on the edge, you'll be thinking twice. Once you're thinking twice in the race karting, right, you're not getting nowhere. Because if you think twice, oh yeah, is this car going to slip? My car going to slip? Oh, my car won't probably make this corner. You finished. Basically. You're not going to get the potential.
And you know what, as well, he was frustrated during. He was also frustrated during the first part of the qualifying as well. At turn 10, when the McLaren got in his way, look, the McLaren was on a Charles was on his flying lap, and in turn 10, the McLaren got in his way, and he was frustrated then as well. So when qualifying start, if you want a perfect qualifying from Q1 to Q3, it has to be all perfect, isn't it? Really, most of the time you've got to set it perfect. If someone gets in your way, that can derail you for the next one. You have to be zoned in. I know people say, look, these Formula One drivers that can concentrate, they can turn off. But if you're on a lap, if you're on a flying lap, and when turn 10 comes, you know how turn 10 is, where they got that scooping little turn, half a turn. The McLaren got in his way, frustrating, it ruined his lap. That was part of it as well. And he kept going on the radio about it. They didn't really show it on Sky. Don't know where you're going to watch it if you go on the app, and then you can listen to the radio, the radio of the drivers. And they're showing it on here now, saying that he was frustrated, and it was. And it's a weird one. I think they're going to come good in the race. I know they're far back, but I think they're going to come good in the race, and I think he'll be ready. I think he'll be ready for the race. I think he's going to make it a mission. I won't be surprised if Ferrari finish in the top 5. At the end of the race, they've got the car to do it. They just need to They need to figure out what went wrong, and I get it. So that's it, really. Talked about Mercedes, talked about Ferrari. We're also going to talk about Red Bull as well. It is what it is. Max Verstappen saying he's not really worried. Nobody said they weren't worried. So usually when people say they're worried, that means they are worried. When someone says, "Oh, I'm not really worried about it," that means they are worried. Because why are you saying it? Nobody asked him that he was worried. He just said he was worried. And after his interview with Sky, they had people cheering him, and he just walked off like he usually does. So, any thoughts on Red Bull and any thoughts on Checo? Let's go talk about Checo.
I don't really care that much.
What happened with Checo? We'll forget him, but we can talk about Checo. You know the reason why Checo didn't make it into Q2?
Yeah.
You know why? Because of his team. They called him in to adjust something on the car 2.5 minutes before the end of Q2, and Martin Brundle says on the radio, I remember Martin Brundle says in commentary, he says, "That's a weird one, bringing Checo in now. You sure he's going to make it in time?" What happens? They adjusted something on the car. They didn't explain what they adjusted. They adjusted something on the car, and then what happened? He came out and he didn't make it into Q3. He didn't make it. He didn't make it into Q2 because he didn't have enough time. He ran out of time. That's because they pitted him too late. They pitted him, adjusted something on the car, and I knew they didn't have time. They must have knew they never had time, but it's Checo in it. That's what they do with Checo. Max Verstappen is their main priority. But where they're going to make the mistake is when it comes towards the end of the season, if they want to win the Constructors, they need Checo up there. Max Verstappen can't win the Constructors on his own. Not if you've got two Ferrari drivers firing on all cylinders. Not if you've got two Mercedes drivers firing on all cylinders. You need to win the Constructors. You need your teammate as well. And if they keep screwing over Checo, I'm not saying it's intentionally, but if they keep screwing over Checo, what's going to happen is they're going to lose the Constructors, which I'm not going to be. I'll be quite happy about personally, coming from a non-Red Bull fan. So what's your thoughts on that with the Checo thing, man? Because I know your brethren's a Checo fan. Tyler Cuthbert, what's your thoughts on Checo? The way they pitted him, I don't know what they was doing there.
I think personally, Red Bull as a whole has not been having a good weekend. They have not been having a good weekend. Of course, showed up in the qualifying. But I think for me, Perez, if the team keeps on screwing him, I'm going with that. I think the team's screwing him. No way they have the same cars.
I can't believe they pitted him. No way.
There's no way they have the same cars. And
No.
it seems like the adjustment made the car worse. And I'm going with him that Red Bull screwed him. And the more Red Bull screws him, they've got to think through their thickheads. If they keep on screwing Perez, right, they're going to lose out in the Constructors. They're going to lose out. You know, you can't just have one man finishing top 3 or top 5 every single race. That's only one man. Verstappen, that's only one man. If you're going to screw your second driver, because second drivers are important. They are important to get you points. Say if the first driver gets a DNF, they're the one that come underneath, pause, and go, you know, and go finish the race as the highest as possible. But for me, I don't know why they adjusted that. I don't know why they adjusted the wing angle. You know,
so late.
2 minutes towards the end, and he probably didn't like it. He probably didn't like the setup. He probably didn't like that. That's why.
Yeah,
right?
but it's cost him.
It did cost him. It did. I don't think Perez liked the setup. That's just in my opinion. Don't know what Perez is coming from the word of mouth.
Yeah.
But
I blame the team. It's not on Checo. I blame the team.
Yeah. Look,
If Checo said, I need to come in because we need to adjust something, the team should have said, no, if you come in now, you're not going to make it into Q2. That's what his team should have said. But his team said, yeah, come in, Checo. No. The team should have said, stay out, try and make it into Q2, and then at the end of Q2, right, at the beginning of Q2, we'll adjust it then when we got more time. He had 2.5 minutes left. There was no way he was going to make it round there, do the outlap, and then go through fast lap. It was never going to happen. And it was always gonna backfire. And if that was Max Verstappen, they would have made that mistake with Max Verstappen. They would have said stay out because it was Checo. He's expendable, and it's one of them. They got him now for 2 years. He's gonna be the yes man for Max Verstappen. He's Ruben Barrichello because Ruben Barrichello was the second driver to to Michael Schumacher. It's Rubens Barrichello. He's there to assist Max Verstappen because he's basically a yes man, and it's a shame because Checo's a good driver and he's very talented, but he ain't gonna win nothing while he's at Red Bull. He's not gonna win anything. It's just gonna be Max Verstappen, and that's it. So that's the end of the review, man. So you got anything to say, boy, before we bro? Anything to say before we go?
I know. I just want to comment one thing about Lewis.
Go on, then. Go ahead.
I think about Lewis that I don't know what happened with Lewis today. To be honest, he had a really good weekend. Top in practice 3, doing good in practice 2-on-1, doing good all weekend, doing good in Q1, top in Q2. Then in Q3, it just all went wrong. I don't know why it went all wrong. I'm going to go with the observation that probably Ricciardo got in the way of him in sector 1 at the start of the lap. You could say that. But his sector 2 was pants. His sector 3 was pants.
I know.
He got 3 yellows, even though he could have got in the way of Ricciardo. You know, he could still do good in the second sector, like he'd been strong with all weekend, the second sector. All qualifying was strong with the second sector. Green first sector, but yellow sector. I mean, the second sector, he nailed it purple every single time. Sector 3, not so much. Russell was probably the one that got the strongest at sector 3 in the weekend in qualifying. But yeah, I don't know what happened with Lewis. Let's hope he, gained positions. I think he would gain positions in the race. Let's hope he don't finish 7th, 8th, or 9th.
I think he's gonna be good. I don't think he's. I think he's gonna fight for the win. He's in 7th place, which is a decent position. He's on the 3rd row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now he's on the 4th row of the grid. I think he'll make a row. Look, he's won this 7 times. At this track. This is one of his diamond tracks. He loves Canada. He's equal with Michael Schumacher on this circuit, and I think he's going to go for the win tomorrow. I think you can win from 7th place here. When you're as good as Lewis Hamilton and you've won this track so many times, it's going to be good for him. I think it's going to be good for him if he gets a good start and he can go from 7th to 5th place in the first 2 laps. He's in with it then. All he's got to do is manage his tyres, and we all know that Lewis Hamilton, when it comes to managing tyres, is one of the best. He's one of the best, and I think tomorrow, long as he doesn't get hit in the first lap, and he can probably gain about 2 places in that first lap, I think he's going to be up for it. He's going to be there for the win. He's going to be there for the taking. I think Russell and Max Verstappen is going to be fighting at the front. And we all know when you get 2 cars that are equally as good as each other at the moment, fighting, the others have got a chance to come back. And I think he can pass. I think he can pass Lando Norris. I think he can pass Oscar Piastri. I think he can do it. Let's bring up the see if I've got it on here. Let's bring up the how it finished anyway before we finish the video. I'll just bring it there. Share the screen. There you go. So this is how it finished. Right, this is how it finished. So George Russell. So you're looking at there now. You got George Russell first, 2nd Max Verstappen, 3rd Lando Norris, 4th Oxford, Daniel Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso. Lewis Hamilton could pass Fernando Alonso and Ricciardo tomorrow, 100%. Now, I'm surprised Daniel Ricciardo's there, bro. Well, big up to Daniel Ricciardo for that. But anyway, I think Lewis Hamilton can pass Fernando Alonso. Alonso won't make it easy for him, but he'll pass. I think the car's better than the Aston Martin this weekend. I think he'll pass Fernando Alonso. I think he'll pass Ricciardo, and then he'll have his work cut out for Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. If he can pass Fernando Alonso and Ricciardo in the first couple of laps, which I believe he can and will, long as he doesn't get hit by no one. Feed the boy Tsunoda behind him. If he can pass them 2, yeah, he's in for the fight. What you reckon? If he can pass them 2?
Yeah, because Tsunoda, how awkward he is to pass.
Yeah, I know. No, but he's behind him, isn't he? Pause.
Yeah, so if he gets into 5th place in the first 10 laps.
No, first 10 laps now. I want to see him in the first 2 laps. 10 laps.
Yeah. Because I don't want him to be stuck behind somewhere. I don't want him to go in that big DRS train. Because
you won't be in the DRS train.
No, but if he's getting stuck behind 2 people and, it's a three-way battle, I just don't want him to get stuck in the DRS train.
Ricciardo's not going to be there for long.
No, because you know how bad the RB is. RB's not really a good car. Ricciardo and Tsunoda. Yeah, if he can get past them 2, yeah, it'll be fine. First 5 laps, I think he'll pass them 2. I think. And we start the 10, but I think first 5 laps he'll pass them 2, and then he'll set up a good chance to go win the race or get a podium.
That's what I think as well. Hopefully he does. It'd be a good race. I think he can win tomorrow. I really think he can win tomorrow. Lately, the last couple of years, Lewis hasn't really been the qualifier. But he's the best racer. When it comes to racing, he's the gold standard still. Don't people be sleeping on Lewis because Lewis was in a has been in a horrendous team. Mercedes has been horrendous for the past couple of years. And because Mercedes is horrendous, they think Lewis has lost it. You know, they think Lewis has lost it, because the car is in a bad place. Watch when Lewis goes to Ferrari. Then you're going to start seeing Lewis on the podium more regular. And then people are going to say, oh, yeah, Lewis has got it. He's got it back. He never lost it. Lewis never lost it. The fact is, the reason why Lewis, hasn't been good for the past couple of years, because the car's been rubbish. The car's been rubbish, that's all. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you've got a horrendous car, what bubbles everywhere, and it's slow on the straights, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. So when it goes to Ferrari, you're going to start seeing something, maybe this season as well, because Mercedes are picking up. But when it goes to Ferrari, you're going to start seeing him on the podium more regular. You know, Lewis, you're going to start seeing him on the podium more regular. So that's it, man. That's the end of it, man. I'm going to head off now. Thanks for joining us today. Anything else to say, Thierry? Toto Hammer?
Nothing else.
Huh? Nothing else to say? Okay.
Nothing else.
Big up to everybody. See you later, guys. Big up, Toto Hammer. See you later, guys. Big up, big up, big up.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.